Hello there, I'm Melissa Dewis with Bernama News. Welcome. My PPP President, Tan Sri M. Kevis, announced his resignation today via Twitter. He relinquished his positions as My PPP President and as KL My PPP Chairman on Monday. The party's Central Working Committee has called for an urgent press conference in Petaling Jaya today. In 1993, Tan Sri Kevis became president of People's Progressive Party, PPP, a component member of Barisan Nasional. He is the longest-serving PPP president to date. The 64-year-old lawyer is credited with putting PPP on a strong footing after many years of internal strife within the party. He first became Member of Parliament for Taiping in 2004 but lost in the 2008 general election to DAP's Nga Koming. On Monday, he announced that his Vice President and Federal Territory Deputy Minister Loga Balamohan's decision to contest in Segambut under the BN banner was without the party's endorsement. He had also lobbied hard for the Karen Highlands parliamentary seat, but it was announced last week that the seat would be retained by MIC. And in other news, Bukit Aman today released a photograph of one of the suspects wanted for the murder of Palestinian lecturer Dr. Fadi Muhammad Al-Bash on Saturday. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi Harun said the photograph was obtained following the discovery of the high-powered motorcycle used by the two killers.
Kita telah berjaya menemui motosikal yang digunakan oleh suspek seperti mana yang saya tunjukkan ni. Motosikal ini bernombor BKJ 413. Dan berikutan dengan penemuan motosikal tersebut, kita telah dapat mengesan gambar suspek sebenar seperti mana yang saya tunjukkan ni.
Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi said the motorcycle was discovered at Tasik Danau Kota on Tuesday morning and police believe that the two suspects are still in the country. He also said the suspects had been in the country since January this year. Checks showed both men had entered the country using fake identification documents.
Identiti kita tak dapat. Cuma kita mengesyaki bahawa penama ini menggunakan identiti yang palsu. Sama ada dia masa masuk ke negara kita atau semasa berada di negara kita ini. Ini yang menjadi sedikit masalah pada kita, tapi we are working closely dengan agensi-agensi berkaitan untuk mendapatkan identiti sebenar suspek ini.
Asked if the suspects were foreign agents, Muhammad Fuzi said he could neither confirm nor deny. And following the shocking murder of her lecturer and imam husband by assassins last Saturday, Dr. Fadi Muhammad Al-Bash's wife said she and her 3 young children will return to her homeland of Palestine for good. But Enas Al-Bash, 31, said she would honor her husband's wish for her to continue with her PhD. Speaking through a translator on Tuesday night, Enas, who was deeply saddened by her husband's demise, said she had enrolled for a PhD program with the University Malaya's education faculty and would continue her studies online. Enas also paid tribute to the late Fadi for his willingness to make sacrifices for their children's education. Enas was accompanied at the session with the media by her 1-year-old son, Muhammad, and her brother-in-law, Rami Al-Bach, 28, who had flown to Malaysia from Germany. She described her 35-year-old husband as a very kind and caring man who lived his life with a positive attitude. Fadi's remains are expected to be flown to Egypt from KL International Airport at about 7 p.m. on Wednesday before being transported by land to Gaza. Barisan Nasional BN is offering a formula for happiness and success for about 15.3 million Malaysian women who are deemed to be the pillars of the country. BN Wanita Chief Tan Sri Shahrizad Abdul Jalil said the welfare of the group is being championed by the coalition in its 14th General Election Manifesto. Speaking at the Wanita Ratu Hati Negara Ku event on Tuesday night, Tan Sri Shahrizad said the 12 target groups comprising single mothers, young women, career women, female leaders, educators, veterans entrepreneurs, Felda women, creative arts women, digital women, healthy women and safe women are given special focus in the manifesto.
Malah, jika puan-puan teliti, helai demi helai, lebih daripada 80% dari 364 inisiatif dalam manifesto itu dizahirkan untuk menjayakan ibu dan wanita, termasuklah jaminan untuk orang muda.
At the event, Shahrizad, who is also Wanita UMNO chief, explained in detail the coalition's initiatives to empower women in the country. She said of the 31.7 million Malaysians, almost 50% are women, making it impossible to ignore the importance of that group in the structure of society, with the BN government always committed to improving their quality of life. At the same event, BN Chairman Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak, who made a surprise appearance, said BN will continue to ensure that the struggle to elevate the integrity of Malaysian women is maintained. He gave the commitment in his brief speech, where he also expressed appreciation of Malaysian women.
BN yang mengiktiraf wanita sebagai tiang Sri, bukan saja ratu hatiku, tapi tiang tonggak negara. Dan kita juga akan pastikan bahawa lebih ramai wanita dinaikkan pada tempat-tempat membuat keputusan. Dan kita akan pindah perlembagaan insya-Allah. Dewan Senat 30% minimal wanita. Kita akan tambah lagi peluang wanita naik pangkat. Kita akan tambah lagi wanita dari segi menjadi usahawan.
The Prime Minister emphasized that BN would ensure that Malaysian women could play a more meaningful role as mothers, wives and career women. In the recent BN manifesto announced by Najib, 74 out of 364 initiatives are on women or women-related programs, including 25 tailored for the group. These include BN's commitment to ensuring 30% women representation in the Dewan Negara through amendments to the Federal Constitution. Meanwhile, PKR President Datuk Seri Wan Azizah Wan Ismail on Tuesday brushed aside the alleged existence of two camps in the party, which has purportedly affected the nomination process of candidates for the coming general election. Several local media outlets had earlier reported that PKR had split into two camps between Wan Azizah and her deputy Muhammad Azmin Ali following a dispute over their selection of candidates. Speaking at a press conference after the briefing for Pakatan Harapan candidates, Wan Azizah stressed that there is only one camp, which is her camp. Meanwhile, commenting on her chances of contesting the Pandan parliamentary seat in Selangor compared to Permatang Pau in Penang, Wan Azizah said she has no problem in switching seats. The Permatang Pau parliamentary seat will be contested by her daughter, Nurul Izzah. At the event, Pakatan Harapan Chairman Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said polling day was a working day when he was the Prime Minister because there was no critical matters that arose or redelineation of constituencies at that time. Asked about his chances of winning the Langkawi parliamentary seat, Dr. Mahathir said he is confident that the change in people's thinking over the past 2 years could be of help. BN has named incumbent Datuk Nawawi Ahmad to defend the Langkawi parliamentary seat in GE 14.
terima kasih banyak tu. Suka tak boleh nak kita lagi mana suka kerajaan ditolong kita, bantu kita. Suka tak boleh nak cerita macam mana suka. Suka.
Welcome back. Asian shares fell on Wednesday morning as U.S. bond yields hit 3% and as bellwether U.S. companies warned of higher costs because of higher interest rates. The benchmark 10-year U.S. Treasury yield rose to as high as 3.003% on Tuesday and last stood at 2.992% amid concerns over inflation, growing debt supply and rising U.S. Federal Reserve borrowing costs. MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares outside Japan dropped 0.7%. Wall Street dropped sharply on Tuesday as warnings by bellwether companies of higher costs reverberated as the benchmark U.S. 10-year Treasury yield pierced the 3% level for the first time in 4 years. The 10-year yield, a benchmark for global borrowing costs, has been driven steadily higher, making borrowing costs more expensive for corporations. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 424.56 points or 1.74% to 24,024.13. Tracking Wall Street, Asian shares were also lower, with Japan's Nikkei 225 falling 0.7% to 22,134.17 over worries about higher interest rates. China's Shanghai Composite Index slipped 0.3% to 3,119.30, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index fell 0.83% to 30,380.48. Meanwhile, South Korea's Kospi Stock Index was down 0.97% at 2,440.21. On the commodities front, oil prices fell back from more than 3-year highs reached the previous session as rising U.S. fuel inventories and production weighed on an otherwise bullish market. U.S. crude inventories rose by 1.1 million barrels in the week to April 20th to 429.1 million barrels, according to a report by the American Petroleum Institute on Tuesday. Brent crude oil futures added 2 cents to $73.88 a barrel. Gold prices were weaker as prospects of higher U.S. interest rates dampened the appeal of bullion, which pays no interest. Spot gold fell $2.25 to $1,328.10 an ounce. Share prices on Bursa Malaysia closed the morning session sharply lower, in line with the regional markets performance. The FBM KLCI was down 14.39 points at 1,850.95, tracking an overnight drop in U.S. equities as investors pulled out of riskier assets after Treasury yields hit a 4-year high. TA Securities said Bursa Malaysia stocks are likely to extend profit-taking correction to lower and stronger supports before buyers return. Some investors are also concerned by rising U.S. interest rates and absence of local catalysts ahead of Malaysia's 14th general election. On the broader market, losers outpaced gainers 644 to 138, while 286 counters traded unchanged. Volume stood at 951.76 million units, valued at 750.93 million ringgit. Meanwhile, the ringgit remained lower against the US dollar on deteriorating risk sentiment. It was quoted at 3.9070 against the greenback. In other news, Malaysia's homegrown bakery chain Roti Boy is eyeing 500 international branches by 2020 from around close to 200 currently. To do so, it plans to penetrate new markets such as Japan and Canada through new partners. It will soon be opening branches in Iraq and Cambodia, where it has secured master franchisees, while expanding its reach in current markets China, Indonesia, South Korea and Saudi Arabia. Founder and Managing Director Hiro Tan said Roti Boy is creating a new Chief Executive Officer position to oversee their growing business. Speaking to Bernama News Channel at Roti Boy's 20th anniversary dinner on Tuesday, he said an announcement will be made in May.
We concentrate more on long-term results, and we put in a lot more effort to build the brand and to maintain the brand. So going forward, it will be almost the same kind of thing, but as you get bigger, then you need to support the structure. And to support the structure, you need people. So that will be our key focus, and the key focus of the new CEO when he comes in.
Locally, Roti Boy aims to open 100 branches by 2019 from 40 currently, 20 of which are owned by franchisees. When it reaches 100 outlets, he said, the target is to ensure 60% of the branches are franchisee-owned. Roti Boy was established in April 1998 in Bukit Mertajam, Penang. In 20 years of operation, it has sold 500 million buns. On to foreign news, another shooting incident in the United States. 2 officers from the Dallas Police Department and a civilian were injured in a shooting outside a hardware store on Tuesday. The suspect, who was thought to be armed, remained at large on Tuesday night. The shooting happened about 4:30 p.m. local time outside a Home Depot in northern Dallas. Dallas Police Chief Renee Hall said police responded to the Home Depot at about 4:15 p.m. when an off-duty Dallas police officer working there detained a suspect and called for assistance for the arrest. When the other officers arrived, the suspect produced a handgun and shot the 2 responding officers and a Home Depot loss prevention officer. The 3 victims were transported by Dallas Fire Rescue to Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital of Dallas. He said the 2 officers were critically wounded and the civilian's condition was not known. Mercedes Galedo, one of the witnesses, said she was checking out as she heard gunfire.
We heard first 4 shots, and then from there, they were just telling us, like, get out the building, but then they found out that he had went outside, so we're like, stay in the building. So as many people that they were trying to come in, we were trying to get them inside. And from there, like, they said that he ran out the exit door because the fire alarm started going off.
Aerial video showed police using a helicopter and trained dogs to search for a suspect in a wooded area next to the store parking lot. Canadian Public Safety Minister Ralph Goodale on Wednesday praised a Toronto police officer's behaviour in arresting a suspect in Monday's deadly van attack. Video circulating on social media show the officer confronting Alec Manassian even as he points a dark object toward the officer. The officer refuses to shoot and repeatedly yells for Manassian to get down. Goodale said it was a powerful example of a very skillful, very well-trained, very brave Canadian policeman. Responding to a question about why he had chosen not to describe the incident as terrorism, Goodale said he was waiting for the investigation to conclude to characterize those events, adding authorities see no national security element in the seeming attack on pedestrians.
Well, I will leave it to the police and security agencies to characterize those events once they have been able to complete their investigation. What I was very careful to say yesterday and today is that there is no known, at this time, at the state of what we have in front of us at the moment, there is no known national security connection. And the events that happened on Yonge Street will be very carefully examined by all of the police and other relevant agencies, and the full story of what happened there will eventually emerge.
Manassian, a 25-year-old student, was charged on Tuesday with first-degree murder in the deaths of 10 pedestrians he mowed down in the rented van he sent careening along the busy walkway. 14 others were injured.
Has been charged with 10 counts of first-degree murder, 13 counts of attempted murder, and we're anticipating a 14th count of attempted murder, which will be laid shortly following some follow-up investigation.
Police said he appeared to intentionally strike pedestrians after mounting a busy pavement in a rental van. He was arrested several blocks away after a tense standoff with police. Manassian's Facebook post, which the social network has confirmed as real, praised Elliot Roger, a 22-year-old from California who killed 6 people in a shooting rampage through Isla Vista, California, in 2014 before turning the gun on himself. The social networking site took down his account after the attack. Officials also announced they won't be announcing victims' names for a number of days to ensure the identifications are correct. And we're back with more foreign updates. Thailand says it is ready to host a historic summit between US President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un if Bangkok is chosen as the venue. Thailand's Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha said Bangkok would be ready if picked as the host. He was commenting on speculations that Bangkok could be hosting direct talks between leaders of the two countries. Despite being one of the United States' closest allies in the region, Bangkok maintains diplomatic relations with Pyongyang. Trump has said his talks with Kim Jong-un, the first for a sitting US president and a North Korean leader, could take place in late May or June. The summit would center on the nuclear threat posed by Pyongyang. And that's all we have for now. To get the latest news updates, do follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Melissa Dewis. Thanks for watching Bernama News Channel. It's all about you.